Hey guys, I want to give you all a quick update talking about investing. Today's May 1, so I hope some of you have gone through and looked at your budgets and made some cuts, hopefully. We'll do a video here later this week that I'll probably crowdsource and have you guys post some things and answer some questions if you feel like it. But I wanted to talk to y'all a minute about, this whole thing of when is a good time to buy, when is a good time to sell. Selling for me is something that will not happen until I'm much, much older. And I was thinking about this thing where people say, well, is now a good time to invest? Should I wait till later or whatever? And we are at market highs, so it does make me kind of cautious on buying right now. Sorry, it's more comment. But so I went and looked because I'd heard this stat the other day and I couldn't remember it, so I went and looked it up. So last year for the year, the S&P 500 was positive. However, interestingly enough, there were 5 days last year that made up all of that gain. Okay, there were 5 random days throughout the year that led to the S&P 500 being a positive investment for the year. So this is why I think it's important for you to think very, very long term, because if you try to cherry pick just those 5 days out of an entire calendar year, there's not really a good way to do that. You'd probably get it wrong. So keep in mind that even though your investments, you will see them fluctuate up and down based on quarterly earnings or political news or world events, that generally speaking, you're going to get your 8% a year every year if you just leave it alone. Furthermore, it's more costly to trade in and out because you got to pay commission every time you do that. So you're wasting money on commission trades to try to figure out when the best time to buy into the market is. And there's really never a good or bad time. If you get a little more savvy at this, yes, you can wait when things are way up, hold on to your cash and let things calm down a bit. But just for the average investor, the best thing you can do is put the same amount of money back every month and then just never touch it. And to prove that, it just baffled me that out of 365 days last year, 360 of them made the S&P 500 net zero gain or loss. And it was thanks to 5 other days that we had a gain for the year. And those are very hard to pick. So it's almost like finding a needle in a haystack. So make sure that when you start to invest or put money into your 401k or buying stocks, that you are doing this with a time horizon that is at least 5 years down the road, that you're not worried about what happens in those 5 years. Because anything, if you look at major world events from 9/11 until today, have caused market panics. But from 9/11 to today, the market is way up over that time. Even though there have been massive drops inside of those years, you still came out worlds better than had you done nothing at all. So I just found that stat interesting. I forgot to share it with you all, and then I forgot the exact number of days, so I had to go look it up. But it just kind of reinforces that philosophy of you're buying and holding for the long term. We're not doing this to make a short-term gain. We're being patient. We are holding good companies for many, many, many years. And we aren't really trying to rig this system to where we can make a quick buck. This is a slow, steady, patient game. This is not a game where you make money overnight. So just want to throw that out there. I'm getting ready to do the one on defense spending, but I thought this was important that I get it in your all's hands. It was an interesting stat, and I thought I would share it with you. I'll be back in a minute, and we'll do defense spending.